Hello, hello, everybody. Come on in, take a seat, grab a blankie and a nice warm beverage. We're going to continue our series on Sebastian Rogers tonight. I think I probably need to update this because Sebastian did turn 16 December 7th. He has dirty blonde hair. He has brown eyes. He's 5'5", weighs anywhere from 110 to 120. He wears black square frame glasses. Sebastian is autistic. He doesn't like to be barefoot. He has trouble kind of making friends, social interactions. Favorite songs, Eye of the Tiger, and his favorite color is green. So we're continuing on. We are expecting some big news tonight from Dogs Camp. I have been patiently refreshing his Twitter page to see what it is. I'm really curious. Hello, K9. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good evening. So yeah, I've been patiently waiting for that news to come through and nothing yet. I'm going to just really quick refresh it again behind the scenes here. Yeah, nothing yet. Unfortunately. I was hoping to get some news before we even went on. Hello, Brenda Jo. Brenda Jo made a good casserole for supper tonight. I went downstairs and had some with her. It was yummy, yummy. You got snow today? We got really cold today. What does my phone say? Just curious. Yeah, we're at 0 degrees right now. We had a high of 5 degrees today, and our low is expected to be -8. Isn't that great? Yuck, yuck. I don't like the cold weather. Don't like it at all. So today I was working on a new case that I'll be talking about. It's going to take a while to get through it. I don't know if any of you know about it. Ginger Girl actually let me know about it. Can I read the update from Dog? It's not out there yet, is it? I just refreshed his page and there was nothing out there. Yeah, I just refreshed it again and there's still nothing. I'm assuming it'll be on X. And then I just saw on Facebook somebody's asking about the announcement. Nothing yet. Trust me, guys, I will read it when it comes in. But I've heard nothing yet. Let me see if there's anything on Twitter. I'm looking. Checking out here. So, guys, you know, today is one of those days that I have been really irritated with how mean people are being. Does that ever get to you guys? Oh, the one saying he was going to make an announcement? Let me look here. Okay, I'll show you this one. I'll share my screen. Nation, great conversation with authorities in Tennessee. Big news soon as we hunt those who are hiding Sebastian Rogers. Yeehaw. So that's the latest one. And that was 5 hours ago. I did see the one from his lawyer, but I was that K9, do you know, was that on X2? I don't, or did I see that on Facebook? I don't remember. Um but yeah, I saw it. I did see that one, and it just kind of said the same thing, that they're expecting to do another big um after Dog talked to the authorities in Tennessee, they were going to be releasing um a big one. Let me look here. I did see something, you know, it's gone now. Wonder if it's showing on this one. I'll share my stream on this one. And this one was from Hindsight and Nick. The most significant update since Sebastian's disappearance is expected to be released today, as per @Dog Bounty Hunter, following discussions with officials. We are Sebastian Strong, and it's got a clapping thing going on there. So there's that one. Um, the lawyer, I'm not sure where that one was. Yeah, I should have just probably taken print screens. I didn't think of it. Because they didn't really say much other than they're going to, after they talk with officials, they're going to have this thing. I did see something, though, by Nick. Yeah, they definitely think he's still alive. And I'm praying to God they're right, too. Um, and I did see something from Nick, and it said, "Are you still sure that Green Hoodie just was there and there was nothing that happened at SF Investigates?" And so I don't know if this announcement has something to do with um, Green Hoodie. You know, remember I said Green Hoodie has not come forward, right? And so um, the other thing that we've heard too, and I don't know if we talked about this, but there evidently was more information that came out. Um, Actually, I think I have that. Let me look. Just save that one. No, maybe I didn't. Could have sworn I did. Anyway, um, it was about I'm trying to find it. Sorry, guys. Um, but that Green Hoodie evidently came from the bushes by the Texas Roadhouse, and then, waited for Katie, in between the cars there. Then when he left Katie, he went in to go to the bathroom and then came back out, and he walked back by the bushes, through the bushes, to the parking lot next to Texas Roadhouse, which was a clinic or something. And yeah, so it evidently, was truth, right? Had to be truth. So I don't know where they got that information, but remember that Doug and Nick only put out what they can prove, right? So I I feel comfortable talking about it because they only put out what they have receipts for. So yeah, it seems like we get a bunch of information, then it goes a couple days and it's all speculation, and then stuff starts coming out again. So I can't wait. I'm keep hoping that it, comes out quickly while we're on our live tonight. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking to today, is just one of those days where just really irritated by people can't be nice. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I made up some pictures of Sebastian for Christmas, right? It's Christmas, and our channel, we're believing that he's going to be home by Christmas, right? And so somebody wrote underneath saying, why did you use a 2-year-old picture of Sebastian? He's 16 years old. Why didn't you use, and I answered back and I said, I'd be happy to use a 16-year-old picture of Sebastian, but he was missing when he turned 16, and, if you can't be nice, you're welcome to just move on. Why do people have to be so nasty? I mean, it's a known fact that most of the pictures of Sebastian out there are older. Hello, Ginger Girl. Good to see ya. So yeah, it's a known fact that most of them are older. And for somebody to say that, well, she didn't stop there. She went on everybody's posts underneath it to say that. And so I finally just, removed her. Like, jeepers. Oh my goodness. You just never know. And why can't people just be nice? Why can't they just, I guess, what's that saying? Let's be the change that we want people to be in the world, or something like that. Yeah. I guess that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do for sure. Just going to be the nice that everybody needs. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. I'll give it one more refresh and see if we've got any news yet. Nope, nothing yet. All right, so let's go ahead, share our screen. We'll continue on with Chris and Websleuths and Gray Hues and all the drama.
On shows, and they were totally calm, talking, and they were normal, but everybody dissected every single word that they said, and everybody came up with a a negative meaning for every single
Well,
thing they
let
said.
me tell you one. Let me tell you what happened. I can explain now. Let me tell you, Chris, when you went on and talked about hitting Sebastian with a belt and kind of, just chuckling about it and how the social services or child protective services came to your door and apologized to you, that got people upset. It got
Well,
people.
but right, let's clear that real quick. That
Okay.
needs to be cleared up because what was said and what people heard are two totally different things.
I heard you
Because
say you hit him with a belt.
okay, so let me finish because that's the problem. When I go to make the statement, people want to interrupt and try to say, well, this and that. No, you wanted the answer. I'm giving you the answer. Now, when I answered that question, I told people Sebastian got a spanking. He got one lick on his butt outside of his clothes. If somebody can tell me how that's abuse to a child, explain to me.
Can you confirm when that happened?
I don't. That was years ago.
I got spanked by a belt and wooden spoon by my mom for years.
So, but let's not side.
Okay, Gray Hughes. So did many of us. That doesn't make it right. Especially with an autistic child. Didn't we talked about that? Didn't we, guys? We talked about that. We talked about that in chat. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but yeah, many of us got hit with switches and belts and wooden spoons or whatever. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's right for Sebastian or an autistic child. I don't think that is good for any child, let alone one with a disability. I really don't. And yeah, Ginger, I know. I looked at that and I was like, but I'm doing what our people want us to do. So I came on at 6:00 like they wanted, according to their vote last night. So yeah, everybody, I think it's because everybody's hoping this information's going to come out, but watch, it'll come out, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Although that wasn't it was Nick that said it'd be tonight, didn't he? So I don't know. That may explain, his behavior issues and attitude. It could very well be, I get that there are people out there that think that's okay. And, I will say this. When my husband and I lived in Tennessee, and I told you guys we kind of had problems with my stepson. Well, we lived in Minnesota before that. And let me tell you, Minnesota, if you dare look at your child the wrong way, you're in jail. I mean, that's the honest to God truth. We had friends who, went through it with their teenage boys. I'm telling you what, guys, the boys were burglarizing and stealing from their neighbors and all this get up. And, the father was trying to discipline them. He swatted them. Should he have? I don't know. But, of course, they went to the authorities. Boom, he was in jail, right? So, my stepson was trouble with a capital T. And my husband was not going to touch him. He didn't want to end up in jail, but he tried and he tried and he tried to talk to this kid. I tried to talk to this kid. Everybody tried. I mean, I prayed with them. I did everything. It was horrible. And, long story short, his mother said he needs to move in with you guys in Tennessee. So we brought him, we got him enrolled, and he ended up taking off. So we called the police like you're supposed to do, and the police came over, and it was Sumner County, guys. Okay, we lived in Portland. It was Sumner County, and they said, we don't care if you hit your kids over here. You just don't leave a mark on them. That's what they told us. So, Sumner County, I will tell you that. They worked with us really good, and they ended up catching him, and they ended up having to tase him. This kid, like I said, was trouble. We did get him graduated. Sent him back to Minnesota. Oh, children, yeah. When a child, for example, hits another child and you discipline with more hitting, what message are you sending? Yes. Hi, Rosebud. Good to see you. Yeah. And treating bad behavior with more bad behavior never ends bad behavior. That's really good. Yeah. And it's true, So, anyway, I told you how Sumner County Police thought of it, right? And yeah, so it seemed to me like in the South, it was kosher. I don't know. Because it sure wasn't kosher in Minnesota.
Let's not sidetrack. Let's stay on board. Okay? So the question about the CPS thing that came up to play that everybody wants to tie to this belt is not what it was.
Okay.
Well, I think it was confusing because when you initially talked about it, you referred to him as an embarrassed 15-year-old. So
Yes, you did.
Like it was years ago.
We thought it was like right recently.
Hello, Poppy Love. Good to see you.
Instead of
So let's
asking
clear it
more
up.
clarification,
Let's clear it
that
up.
should have been. So, as it stands, Sebastian went to school one day. He made a statement to a teacher. The teacher reports it to CPS. CPS comes to the house. That case has nothing to do with Sebastian getting spanked. That had everything to do with Sebastian didn't like being in trouble. So he thought by reporting it to a teacher, they were going to come to the house and they're going to take me out of the house and do this and do that. That is what the CPS case was about. And yes, I laughed at it because when I explained to Sebastian,
Okay, so how many of you think he's lying about this one now? I remember this happened, let's see, April 27th, okay? This was before we knew about the 5 CPS reports, correct? So, and he just said it here. Sebastian wanted me out of the house. I strictly go for a look that puts the fear of God in the child, and then I begin to tell them right from wrong. Yeah. Those looks are amazing, aren't they, Rosebud? I use that a lot, too. But, so, yes. I mean, he just said it here. Sebastian wanted me out of the house, and I laughed about it. But no. No, Chris, you were mad about it. Because you were put out of the house. So I think that he is lying about this so-called CPS where Sebastian got in trouble. I don't think that ever happened. I could be wrong. It's my opinion, all alleged, right? I could be very wrong. But you gotta wonder, don't you?
very detailed what happened. He thought it was a joke. When the CPS lady shows up and looks at him and says, Sebastian, you can't false report. That will get people in trouble and you can get in trouble. And then she explained to him what happens.
What did he say you did to him?
Can I ask you, what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China when
Well,
it comes to the disappearance of Sebastian?
Because I'll tell you why. Because you're wondering why people are coming at you. And
Yes,
it's because he was in your home last. That was the last place he was seen.
yes,
So
he was.
when we hear these things, it's like, okay, let's just clear it up and see what happens. Because I'll tell you why. Because people, I'm not saying me, but I've seen people say, hey, he was hitting his child. He reported it to his teacher. Did something happen? Was there an explosive incident that happened?
No, absolutely nothing of that nature.
Okay.
And for people to not understand,
He answered that pretty quickly. No one is perfect, but if you want control, then stay in control. Is everything to do with all of this, in my opinion. Right? Right? I mean, I thought her question was a very good one. What did he say you did? And what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China? Oh my goodness. How can he not see that it has everything to do with it? You know, even if you go by his story saying Sebastian left, well, it still would matter. Because then why did Sebastian leave your home? I don't believe his story, but you know what I'm saying? And yeah, he's always so defensive and angry, but you know what? Isn't that the MO of a guilty person? I'm just saying that's how they usually act. Defensive and angry. That's exactly what he's acting like here. You know, and boy, he's just coming back quickly. No. Oh my goodness.
when you discipline a child, there's a difference in discipline and abuse.
Yes, there
truly
is.
is a difference.
But I think hitting anybody with a belt is abuse. I'm sorry, I do. And a lot of people agree with me, and that's the problem.
And
So
guess
we have a
what?
difference
That's
of
the
opinion.
great thing. That's the great thing about having your opinion.
Yes.
That's an opinion. That's not a fact. That's opinion.
Okay. I think a belt is abuse, but that's my, again,
Well,
that is my,
if I was leaving bruises and marks on a child, that's abuse. That would be considered.
Oh my God. Did you guys hear that? If I was leaving marks on a child, that is exactly what the Sumner County Police told me and my husband. That is just too close for comfort. Did CP's mom recently say that her son didn't have? She did. She did. I guess the question is whether we're going to believe Seth or whether we're going to believe her. I'm not going to say her name. He's wrong. It is against the law to hit a child with a belt. I don't know, but I was going to say, you know, I would think that CPS would say it's wrong to hit a child with a belt. Well, Poppy, maybe, but I really want to kind of stay away from that end of things. And the reason why, because it seems as though whenever they are brought up, they tend to retaliate. And I know it's not fair, whatever, but I just don't need things coming at me. Me too, Juicy. Me too. Hello, hello.
Considered abuse.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
So by definition,
that's weird.
that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. You can say your opinion, and that is fine, but you have to back it up and say, what I am stating is just an opinion. There's no fact to it. When you don't say that, you leave it open to interpretation for a lot of people to take it and run with it. That was a lot of the problems with this.
And there will be people, I can get people from CPS that will say hitting a child with a belt is an abuse. But here's the thing, you're right. That doesn't have anything to do necessarily with Sebastian and his disappearance. But what it does is it creates a narrative in people's minds that we need to clear up and change, Chris. We need to clear it up and change it. Okay? So let's do that.
So we just did.
Okay. If now you did go on Nancy Grace and say that CPS has never been called. And
no, that's not. No. Nope.
Okay, that's what I heard. What did you say?
She asked the question about a situation, and she asked me if I had ever had CPS called on me. I believe is what the question was. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't exactly know what the question was without hearing it again. So I'm not going to answer you with something without having it in front of you.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair. Very fair. And so let's move on. Okay, so nothing came of that from you hitting him with a belt. Has there ever been any, and people are going to ask, has there ever been any violence in your home as far as Sebastian is concerned?
No.
Okay, now Gray asked, why is Seth being treated so different? Because of how Chris came on and became so angry and did what you did tonight, Chris. You've done this before, and I think that's why, and Seth didn't. And I think that's the difference.
Right, because I don't feed out of people's hands. I don't feed into what people think. I don't, and once again, that's the difference.
But how about just saying thank you to the people that want to help you?
Okay, well, that's simple. There's a difference in me saying thank you to everyone, which if you go back and listen to every single interview I have done, I have told everybody, thank you for everything that you have done. There's not enough thank you in this world.
Okay, so guys, how do you feel about that? When you hear Chris come on and he's screaming at everybody, and then he says, "Oh, thank you. There's not enough." Is that genuine? Do you think he really means it? I mean, I don't even hear it anymore. Because of everything else he said, I don't even hear that anymore. So Rosebud, and Poppy, no worries. I just wanted to make sure that. Nope. Yeah. Canine, nope. To me, his thank yous doesn't matter. But Rosebud, yeah, he said there was only one on him. Is it possible Mom was? And okay, so here is what we know and what we were told by Tony Mathis, okay? That there are 5. One is current. One is open, right? And it was opened in January of 2024. That is the one where it is believed that Chris was told he had to leave the home. Okay. We don't know. It's alleged. The other 4, Tony Mathis said that not all of them were in Chris's name. Some were in Katie's name. But they were in Katie's name in regards to her allowing this to happen to Sebastian under her care. Okay, does that explain a little bit of it? Well, I mean, I guess you could say that. We really don't know. However, I honestly don't think Seth and Tony would put themselves on the line saying that publicly if it weren't true, because they haven't done that so far. Does that make sense? I mean, yeah, that right there says a lot. It says a real lot. And, I could be wrong, but I just don't think Seth and Tony would go out on a limb and say that publicly, knowing that they could have a lawsuit for that, right? But it's been a while since Tony said that about those. And at least a week or 2. And so there's been no lawsuit, right? There's been no lawsuit. So that tells you something as well. Right. Exactly. The look on Seth's face is all I need to know. Whatever happened was serious. Yeah. I mean, do you guys remember what he said? He said that those 2 should have had, that Sebastian should have had a protected order against those 2. So I can only imagine, and I don't know what the laws are, but why he wasn't told about what was going on. Does CPS really take the words of the parents, the mom and the stepfather, that the father isn't involved in their life? Do they really just take their word for it without investigating? Poor Sebastian, he deserves to be safe. He does. He really does. And with all the more hope that he's alive, because it seems like Dog and Nick really believe that. I just pray that he's being taken care of. That bothers me. Because if they thought this was okay in their home, who is he with? That just bothers me so much. Let's continue.
World, we can't begin to describe how much we appreciate it. I have said this.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to one video and show me where I haven't. I've also said that our family prays for everybody else there, and we love you all, regardless of what you think. But you know what?
We love y'all, regardless of what you think. Guys, think about when Seth says that versus what Chris just said. Good point, Ginger. I think the wealthy neighborhood and wealthy reputation of Chris's family was all that CPS saw. I agree. I think there's a lot of things in Sumner County that need to be fixed, honestly. It's starting to sound like it, doesn't it? I think the CPS knew, especially if the school was involved. This was a poor judgment call on the caseworker. Yeah, maybe should be fired. Spare me. Right? Oh my goodness. Yes. Spare me the love. I'm just not feeling it, Chris. Just not feeling that love you got coming from you. Just not feeling it.
Once again,
Yeah. I think when his first interview, you got to admit, his first few interviews were really calm. The one on, can't remember the names of their channels, but like, he was on multiple channels, calmly talking. Both of them were. And yet the public was already angry with him before he became angry on a show, because that was definitely later. You got to admit, like his first 3 or 4, both of them.
And I can tell you why. Because he said he hit Sebastian with a belt. That made people angry.
Which interview was that?
It was the very first one I heard. With I can't remember.
Smiley stories.
Yes,
I can try to pull up a transcript at some point.
Yes, it was on the Smiley story. Yes,
that one.
Okay,
but
yeah, but I mean, but here's the thing: there is a perception. See, look at.
There you go.
I just want to say this. When I was growing up, my mom spanked me with a belt, wooden spoon, everything, and she's the greatest mom I've ever. I mean, like, just awesome. I didn't ever feel like it was abuse. Things have changed though over time. Like nowadays, it's considered abuse, and maybe that sort of is affecting how our society has changed quite a bit. But but the thing is it used to be totally normal, and it is still sort of normal in some families, as long if you're not sitting there just wailing away for hours, like creating the bruises like Chris was saying. It's just sort of I think it's sort of normal for a lot of people in society. It might not be for some people, but I think,
have kids.
I don't know. I think if you took a poll and people were off, not in this particular chat right here, it wouldn't be as high as you might think. It's not going to be 99% of the people. It'd be like,
I think you'd be wrong, Gray Hughes.
Whether or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a little bit anecdotal.
But once again,
could we talk about the thud that Katie heard?
Yes, that's a good one. Let's talk about the thud. And I apologize. I had your name spelled wrong. Everybody that knows me, Chris, knows I'm the worst speller in the world. And I thought I put Proudfoot, and I didn't.
About spelling.
So I apologize.
I'm not the best speller either. So
I do apologize for that, sir.
I put Proud Food one time when I wrote it.
Yeah. So I've been called Bradford, Proud Food, Brownfoot, all kinds of stuff.
So sorry.
I thought I put Proudfoot. Let's talk about the thud. I want to know about that. Chris, please tell us.
So, Poppy Love, yeah, I would imagine you would be shocked. I think that I would have been too, had I not had that firsthand experience with them. I remember both my husband and I looking at each other like, wow, because we thought when we lived in Minnesota that was the way it is now. You don't hit your child. You don't, you can't discipline your children like that. You can't do that. And so when the police, Sumner County Police, told us that, it was like, wow, we were shocked because we hadn't lived there very long. And yeah, we were shocked. So I am proof positive that I heard that from Sumner County Police. Swear by my Holy Bible, honestly. And yes, all that video evidence with BHB and TB, he's actually not going by the law, which is really shocking. I know. I know. You know, how he was saying that, if it's just this chat here. I think if you find you go outside of your chat here, you're going to see that beating your child with the belt is not all not there's a lot of people that don't think anything wrong with it. Uh Excuse me, Gray. I think you're going to find that at least 90% of people think there's something wrong with that nowadays. You've lived here 20 years and watched it grow. Yeah. I love Tennessee, by the way. Really love it. Can we say, in your opinion, that maybe CP's attitude stems from his own upbringing? Yeah, I think so. I will say this, and those of you who have read CP's mom's statements, the tone of mother and son is very much the same, in my opinion, allegedly. No, Ginger, I haven't, because why would his subs continue to stay there then? I mean, I don't understand that. Why would you do that? I'm going to have to go watch him just to see what he does. That's terrible. Your subs, your members, they end up like family. You guys, all that come in here regularly, you're like family to me. And I can't imagine talking down to you guys at all. I can't imagine doing that, and you want to build your family, right? You want to build it. So why would you yell and talk down to them? Oh my gosh. I mean, what's his purpose then? I mean, I don't get that. What is his purpose? Is he just on YouTube just to hear himself talk then? He doesn't care about subscribers and building a community? Because to me, that's what it's about. It's about talking about what you love with other people who are like-minded, sharing your thoughts, your ideas, maybe trying to solve a crime, right? I mean, to me, that's what this is about. Why would you ever, I don't know. We've had 5 children go through Sumner County schools, and 2 of our children are on the spectrum, and we've had services in school. That's awesome. That's awesome. I will tell you this, that my stepson was in his last year, and he it's not that he was stupid by any means, but the way that he was heading in Minnesota, I mean, I'm going to tell you this. He had thrown his stepfather down the stairs. So he was a troubled kid, a very troubled kid, and still is to this day. He lives quite a ways away from me, but he still checks in with me once in a while. But he's still very troubled, and I feel badly for him. My heart breaks for him because it seemed like there was nothing, we could do to get through to him. And his mom knew that he had a healthy fear of his dad as far as not pulling the kinds of things that he pulled in her home. So, I mean, he did have, my husband had that look, and and he respected me as well. But he, whenever he didn't get his way, that's why he ran away from us. He wasn't getting his way. That school, see, in Minnesota, he could wear whatever he wanted to school, pretty much. Well, when we came to Tennessee, the rules were, and Papa, you probably know this, he couldn't wear straight jeans. He couldn't wear the chain, like, the wallet with the big chain hanging down. Couldn't wear that. I forget what else. So I ended up having to go and buy him all new clothes. Well, he didn't like those clothes. He was mad, right? He didn't want to wear those. Long story. We got him graduated. That's about all I can say good about that situation. It was horrible. Chris, relax. Eggs in China. Juicy. Yes, that is so true, Ginger. And even seeing those pictures of Sebastian with his teachers, it just seemed like they were so good with him, and that they truly cared about him. And that's probably where a lot of those CPS calls came from, right? Was the teachers. Because it didn't come from anywhere else. They didn't want him to use the internet for classwork. Yeah. Well, that's understandable. I think that's a lot of, because kids can get the answer so quickly rather than, like especially on a math thing, I could understand that rule. All right.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Well, tell us the whole story. What did Katie tell you about the thud? What is the story behind that?
If Katie's there, maybe she could tell us.
Does she want to come on?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's absolutely fine.
Because it's like this, people. It's enough as it is. I'm not putting her through this. And I'm sure that right there is going to cause a big stir and say, well, I'm controlling. No, I'm not controlling. I'm a husband who protects his wife.
Well, you will only get polite questions here.
Let's go back to the Sebastian deal.
Okay.
Katie reported she heard a thud. And that's it.
But didn't she
knock
ask?
her off and go to bed?
I've seen different reports of she heard a thud. She said, I don't know what you're doing in there, but you need to go to bed. I've seen other reports that Sebastian responded back to her. If he did respond back to her, do you know what he said?
Yeah, he replied, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean,
we're clearing things up.
Right.
That's all this is. Let's just clear it up,
There was a noise. Katie heard it. She responded. Sebastian answered.
Okay. And see, people out there, they want to help. And it feels like that you just are like, that pissed you off that we even asked that.
What pisses me off is when the statement is out there. There was a thud. She asked him what, he responded back and moving on.
And around what time was that?
I'm not going to give you details as far as
Katie gave details, but
well, guess what? That is Katie. I'm not giving you those kind of details.
No, she gave details publicly.
That is fine.
Okay.
Katie can give you that. I am not giving you that information. I will tell you this. It was between the time we were on the phone to the time we got off the phone. That's what I'll give you. That's it.
Has Sebastian ever left the house barefoot that you know of?
Has Sebastian gone outside of the house barefooted? Yes. Before, has he ran off? No.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's how you were asking it, but
No, I'm glad
I'm going to answer it.
that's perfect. No, that's great. And again, I swear to you, Chris, we're not trying to be hostile. In fact, I've spoken on this live channel before and said, if Chris ever came here, we would treat him with total respect and honesty. And I really am trying to help, because I want people to get behind you and Katie, Chris, because I want people to help find Sebastian. And it's just such a bizarre thing. I mean,
It's a bizarre case. Yes, it very much so is.
And so Sebastian leaves, but he's not on anybody's camera. Is that what the police have said, or are you allowed to say?
I can't go into details on that, but here's what I will tell you that's public. Our subdivision is very dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's no street lights in the subdivision whatsoever. If you go online, Google it, whatever, you'll see that there's absolutely no street lights in the subdivision. None.
Right.
Is there a possibility that some cameras may not pick up somebody walking in front of them because how dark it is? Yes.
Okay. That would be the only thing that would make sense, really.
Right. So,
well, he even told me, I remember when he told me that, like, even some detectives didn't show up on the cameras.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense then, because that's been driving everybody crazy. But if it's so dark,
and I know, and it's hard for it. Trust me, for everyone out there that cameras will pick up and all this. No, I promise you, not all cameras have the best quality. As the stuff that you see on TV, and you see a demo of a camera in a store. It's different when you put it on a house and different elements. So,
Okay, so it was so dark that it is logical to conclude that the cameras that Sebastian would have walked by, did not pick him up. And that's something that is logical, that people can accept. Absolutely. I think this is a good question. Did Sebastian ever have nightmares? Could he have had one that scared him so badly that he took off? Has he ever had bad nightmares?
He's had sleeping issues. I mean, he doesn't really sleep a lot. That's why he's been, but that's been his whole life. That's not just been like a segment. I'm pretty sure, I believe Seth has even mentioned this before as well. The only time, I've seen a couple times where he slept really well, but that's when after a hard day of playing, if he's helped with outside work, but for the most part, he's had issues sleeping.
Okay, that's a big help in understanding this. Has he ever done anything like hid under a neighbor's car or anything like that?
Well, I'm going to say we have never seen anything like that. There's been somebody that has said something to that effect, but I'm not going to sit here and say for a fact, yes, he has.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have an answer for that.
Right. I got a question. I got one for you.
Sorry. So, guys, are you as confused as I am? He went from being totally belligerent to being nice. I was like sitting here going, what? What are you talking about? Hey, Betty, good to see you. Thank you for coming on in. I appreciate it. I knew you were on at the same time. I've been on at 6 Central Time every night. And I took a poll last night because I know that a lot of the people we like to watch are on at the same time, and I don't like to compete, and I don't want my subs to feel, torn, but everybody wants it at 6, so that's what we're doing. Rosebud says my ring cam picks up everything in my area. Arlo, you can control those cameras as you want, as to what you want to notify you or not. Oh, that makes sense. You know, yeah, I guess that does make sense. But I also guess he's right about some cameras are better than others. You know, Ginger Girl says your ring cam picks up audio as well as visual stuff. I just saw a tomcat party on my front step at 3 a.m. Oh, how does a tomcat party on your front step at 3 a.m., Ginger? What does he do to party? That's what I want to know. All right, let's continue.
Would you think it's possible that he could have left in the evenings on other nights, like at 1 a.m, and came back through the front door and nobody would have known? Like on other, like let's say a dry run, for example, like he got up in the middle of the night at 1, went out the front door and then came back in and nobody would have known, right? Because you don't have a camera and he knows.
Not that I'm aware of, not that Katie is aware of. I mean, I will say this, and this is for the record. I'm not going to tell you what he does and doesn't do at his father's house. Those are two separate households.
Okay.
You know, Sebastian is one way at our house. He's a different way at his father's house.
Okay.
That is something that we've all had mutual respect on, all the parents together.
Can you answer, was he planning to go live with Seth?
Yes.
Okay. And was he excited about it?
No.
Okay.
At one point he was, but no.
Do you know why he changed, why he wasn't excited?
Yes, because he was informed that he will be doing online schooling vice, in-person school.
Okay. Was there a reason for that?
That's personal matters of my family that will not be discussed with anybody.
Understood. And I respect that. Thank you. He was on medication. Did he get his medication changed recently?
When you say recently, can you define recently?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe within the last few months. I'm trying to think of something that maybe would have changed his behavior for some reason.
It's really hard to say yes or no to that, just because he goes and sees his doctors, and then in there they will talk about his medication and things if they want to change or if it needs to change.
Right.
But I mean, as far as I know, I'm not I didn't see any difference, but.
And is it?
To me, it's very deceiving how he always tries to control the narrative. He can talk about some things, but he can't talk about others. Why is he answering the question about the medication? Although he didn't really, I guess, answer the question, did he? Was his medication changed or not? Why is it so difficult to answer yes or no to that question? So if he did just see his doctor and the medication was tweaked a little bit, then it was changed. And that would be a yes, in my opinion. And guys, I'm still refreshing X to see if we're going to get that update. I hope it comes through quickly, pretty soon. Betty, have you heard any noise or any news on Dog's Front yet? I'm curious. We're inquiring minds want to know, right? All right, so let's continue.
And again, this is just something that people want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Is it common for you and Katie to talk as long as you did that night?
Sure.
Okay. Seth is here. I've asked him to join us. Insightful One, if Seth
Not
jumps
yet.
on, can you please put him on
Gotcha.
the screen, because I can't because of my computer.
Right.
I got it.
Thank you.
Have you guys
Eric?
seen the dog scent track? That because you actually showed it to me, right? Remember on the map, Chris? I don't know if you're interested in. It was kind of an interesting route up a street.
Well, and are you referring to the like day 1 through 4 dog tracks? Because some of those are maybe
Well, he
not
had like a dog scent outside the front door and
Yeah.
sort of around by where the fixed light was on the flashlight, and then north, and then around to like a retention pond, something like that. Just short of it.
Stacy, I believe Seth is here.
I got it.
Seth, I am so glad that you are here, my dear. Thank you very much. Seth, what would you like to say now?
I got a few questions to ask Chris.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, he can hear you.
Hey, Chris. So why did you texted me the other day about something I'd already sent Katie an email?
Say it one more time. All I heard was something about an email sent.
Why did you text me about an email I sent on Monday to Katie?
Because I didn't see the information in what you're referring to as Tony Mathis's phone number. I didn't see it. So that's why I asked for it.
I mean, come on, Chris. If we're going to work together, more than a week communication between the people that I'm sending stuff to you and Katie.
Okay, so hear me out. I told you.
Okay.
I told
Let's
you,
not come
Seth,
in too
we will
hot,
work
okay?
together.
All right.
I explained to you, I'm willing to work with you. You asked me some questions in regard to this dog handler. You asked me questions in regards to going on a social media platform. You've asked me questions about hiring a PR person that will speak for all of us and keep everybody off of these platforms. That's what you asked. Now, if you think I'm not going to do my homework and dig into people and find out who they are first, you're crazy. Because I would expect you to do the exact same thing if I gave you a name.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on, but did that solve it? I hope.
Oh,
Seth?
Seth.
So, yet again, he's got to control the narrative, right? And this was right after, this was on April 27th, guys, and Seth was trying to honestly work with Chris and Katie, okay? But he wasn't getting an answer from Chris. You heard him, he said it over a week, he wasn't getting an answer. And in my opinion, this is why the working together never happened. Because it's always got to be Chris's way or the highway, in my opinion. It just had to be. It was his narrative and only his narrative. And that's the way he is, it seems like, with everything. With every chat that he's been on, with every panel he's been on, it's always got to be his narrative. And that's the way it is with people who are controlling. That's just what they do. It's his personality. And what people don't realize is they're not going to change. They're not going to change unless they want to. If they don't think anything is wrong with them, if they don't do, their own self-evaluation, they're not going to change. And people have to recognize that for who they are.
Gone. It looks like he's
Uh-oh. I think, wait, is this Seth? Did Seth jump off? Let's see. We've got me, Stacy.
Yeah. How about I'll get off the panel. I'm sure that'll make a lot of people in the chat happy. But I just wanted
stop it.
I just wanted to say that, I understand I've seen from the beginning is that there was sides chosen. Now I know you're saying because of this and because of that, but it was Seth good, Proudfoot's bad, and everybody has been in those camps, and they never really got a chance to breathe, and that's probably why Katie went to be with him, because she probably was scared to stay at home by herself, given these lunatics like JLR and et cetera running around, chanting and screaming. It's insane.
Oh, I agree. It's
That's
horrible.
what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that's
it
just
should not be that way.
that's just kind of where I'm coming from. I appreciate communicating with him. We've had nothing but good conversations, and that's it. I mean, that's all I can do. And I've never seen anything that made me go, God, ooh, that's, it's weird. I mean, I don't know. I watched the same things you guys have. But anyways, yeah, see you later, guys out there.
Okay. See ya.
Take care,
Bye.
Gray.
Bye, Grant.
See.
Does anybody know where Seth went?
I'm working on it.
Okay, thanks.
I do know, I think up in his area, he doesn't have like the greatest signal, because a lot of times when we talk, his
You know what?
phone, he will drop.
Do you want to ask him if he wants to call me rather than go on the internet? Just call me on the phone, and I can put him on, and to be a really, really strong signal. I mean, it'll sound really good.
Well, I think it's just like his cell signal up there is not the greatest.
Oh, it's his cell. Okay.
Yeah.
But if he wants to,
I mean, if he's on his cell phone, let me.
Heather, if you want to give him my number, and Chloe has it, feel free. And he can, if it's better for him to call me rather than to jump online.
I'm texting him.
Okay, we can do that. So, hey guys, I don't want to talk about other creators in chat, so let's not do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Agree.
yeah, let's just. I mean, I don't want to give them any.
Right. So
Airtime.
let's get to our next question.
Okay, next question. Let me take a look at my notes. Yeah, because I just wrote some things down. Have you had? And I may have asked this and I forgot, Chris. My mind is sometimes mush. Have you had search dogs inside the house and outside?
Yes, ma'am, I have. Yes, I sure have.
And what did the dogs hit outside?
So, as you know, if anybody has followed Mr. Gray's, what he was talking about, the dog and the trail and the scent and the overlay on the picture. So, there anywhere from 13 to 18 different dogs have been involved in this search.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on day one, there was 5 dogs. 5. There's an audio dispatch tape that's been released. I don't know who released it. Whatever, I don't have it, but you'd have to dig it and find it. In that audio tape, you actually hear that the deputy sheriff does state that the dog hints toward a scent and takes over off to the retention pond and the construction site next door.
Okay.
Now, other dogs did the exact same thing. Now, am I going to say every single dog? No, but I do know of at least 3 dogs that went on the same scent trail, same path. The rest of the dogs, I'm not going to tell you that they are 100% honest and perfect and accurate, because honestly, dogs are only probably 25% reliable.
Okay. I do not believe that. From everything that I've heard about dogs, they're way more reliable than 25%, number one. And Chris keeps trying to push this narrative, and I don't know. I was always under the assumption that the scent that they picked up was not Sebastian's scent, right? And even law enforcement said it wasn't a positive scent. So, if anybody knows anything different, because honestly, I don't have a lot of trust in anything that Chris says at this point. I just don't. The other thing, the Ginger Girl and Rosebud were both talking about them coming together. It would have been a pivotal opportunity for them to work together. But here's the thing. With what we know now, this many months later, right? Chris was never going to work with Seth. Chris never wanted all of this to balloon up like it did. Why? Well, my opinion, he's involved. He's involved in Sebastian's disappearance. That's my opinion. And so, of course, he's not, the only thing that he would have done in my opinion, in working with Seth would be to try to sway Seth into being quiet. That's my opinion. And I don't know. I don't know Seth personally, never met him. But that's what I think. And I'm glad Seth didn't stay quiet. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that he has, he's been consistent in keeping Sebastian's name out there, out front. It's not, if you think about it, Chris didn't want anybody around his house. Nothing. I'm amazed that from, the rumors are flying around that he's been renting his house out. I'm amazed he's doing that because he's so protective over the doggone thing. Okay, I could have sworn I heard law enforcement even say it's never even left the house. Yeah, that's what I thought I heard too. I'd have to go back to check. Then again, it was Craddock who said it, and I don't really hold a... yeah. I guess I don't trust everything Craddock says either, so... Yeah, he did. He set aside his own feelings and he put Sebastian first. Always. He did. He did what a true father's going to do, a true parent's going to do. No doubt. No doubt he did. And of course he was willing to work with them. He knew Sebastian left their house. And I think he felt that 3 of them together would be bigger than just him alone. They would accomplish so much more, right? But it didn't happen. And it was never going to happen, in my opinion. Chris wasn't going to allow that. Chris wanted Seth to shut up. That's my opinion. Yes, the canine specialist said that Max is a human tracking dog. He picked up on a scent disturbance, which was human, but not Sebastian's specific scent. There you go. I believe that, Ginger Girl, 100%. 100%, I believe that. Yeah. All right, let's continue on.
When it comes to a scent.
Okay.
Now, 8 days, I've had dogs in my house the first 8 days. In my house, outside my house, around the neighborhood. So, yeah.
So they've been there and, yeah, so you're saying they did hit and they all went to that pond.
No, I didn't say all of that. I just told you I've had 13 to 18 dogs in my house and around my house. I told you 3 different dogs hit on the same path that go to that retention pond.
Right.
I'm
That's
not going to say that every other dog.
Not every dog, but some dogs hit. Okay.
Right. So, but I want this to be crystal clear.
Okay.
So when people say every dog, that is not the case. 3 dogs went on the same path.
Okay.
That is all that we have on that. The rest of these dogs go in different directions, but it's all unreliable.
Understood. We do have a question from Michelle. Chris, was Ellie able to go in and search the cave they said had collapsed about 10 feet in? I haven't heard this.
Okay, so Ken Widener is the EMA director for Sumner County. They called in all kinds of stuff, got layouts of where these caves were. I don't believe, and I'm not telling you by the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they were able to get into certain caves because they were not safe to enter.
Okay.
The one that she is referring to that collapsed, honestly, we know that the one collapsed. We don't believe they had anything to it.
Got it. Okay. Let's see here. Let me get my notes. I was taking notes while we were talking. Let's see here. Hold on. Mm-mm-mm. So people have been asking, and I don't mean to sound insulting.
Rosebud, not to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
But people are asking, are you searching? Are you putting up flyers? That's what they're
Yes,
asking.
we are.
Okay.
Yes, and here's why they're asking that question. No, you're not going to find pictures of us out there doing this because it's real simple. We, all three parents, initially were told in the beginning not to go out and search, that we needed to be available to talk to law enforcement.
Right.
Yeah.
Seth has been out there searching and doing his thing. He's had a bunch of people following him. Whether or not he chose that or these people decided to do it on their own accord, that's not for me to say. But we, Katie and I, are not going to have some big, massive search party following us around with a bunch of people that are already threatened death threats, by the way, to us. You know, I'm not doing that. If you were in my shoes, you'd do the same thing. You listen to law enforcement. You do what they tell you to do. Yes, we're out there putting up signs. Yes, we're out there putting up flyers. Yes, we are searching.
Chris, I'm sorry. Did you just say you guys are getting death threats?
Yes, we've been getting death threats. And they have been reported to the TBI. Everything gets forwarded, screenshot, and sent straight to them.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about that, Chris. Yes, Poppy Love, he seemed aggressive when he went to talk to Seth. And then, no, he didn't stay to the vigil. They had to go to the Harley shop, right? Don't know whether they bought anything or not, but they did go to the Harley shop. They're available, but they left the house right away. Yeah. And here's my question. So, and I think I mentioned this before, guys, but if they're not staying in the house or renting it out, why doesn't Katie want to stay there? You know, she left the house right away. That tells me Katie does not want to be in that house. Why? Why doesn't Katie want to be in that house? My question, there's something there. And hello, love matters. I had a question. Betty, are you still here? I wanted to show you something, if you are. But yes, I think that he was very, very aggressive with Seth that night. And I think that's why, you know, Seth was frustrated and he said what he said, and he probably shouldn't have, right? He probably shouldn't have. Matters. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I wash my feet in my socks. I do. I really do. You guys going to get me on another laughing jag again? Oh my goodness. Oh. All right.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, everyone. I have Seth on my phone, on my JBL speaker. Seth, I want to give you a chance to talk uninterrupted.
Right.
So please go ahead.
All right. Uh, mainly,
Gotcha.
the communication needs to be a little bit more prompt. If I send you an email on Monday and Tuesday, I'm not willing to wait a week to get a response back. I mean, that's unacceptable when we're trying to find Sebastian, buddy.
I understand
Amen.
what you're saying. I respect that. But when it comes to you asking people to come into my house on my property, who I don't know Adam from Eve, and I really don't care what certification, who.
Oh my goodness. Heaven forbid that Seth should say these people need to come on your properties, but you can rent out your house. Huh? Really?
who can vouch for these people. I don't care. I'm going to do exactly what I have always been doing. You send that to me,
Okay,
we're going to
well,
review it, and then we're going to send it to
I'm going
law
to interrupt you,
enforcement.
Chris.
Let
Okay.
law enforcement go that route,
The
and then when law
spokesperson
enforcement comes,
speak for us
Okay, hold
doesn't
on.
need to be on your property.
Hold
see,
on,
this
Chris.
is
Chris, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Seth, what did you say?
I said the person to be our spokesman to speak for all three of us doesn't need to be on your property.
Okay,
But
Chris.
yeah,
you're
you
correct.
have
You are
spoken
very correct.
to him
I have spoken to him,
when
and I'm going to make this public. I am back working, and I have work hours. I also have to sleep, and unfortunately, I'm on the opposite schedule of you. So respect that. I will do what I
When did
can
you speak
as
with
I
him,
can
Chris?
when I can.
I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
When did you speak with him, Chris?
What has that got to do with finding Sebastian?
If he's going to be our spokesperson, I was just asking when you spoke with him.
I haven't come up with an answer yet. We've spoke with him. We told him we'll get back with him after we've done some consideration and talk with law enforcement. We'll get back to him, and we'll let him know our decision.
So,
I know you're on board with that. I do. I mean, I know you're 1,000% on board with Mr. Mathis. I got that. I'm not taking that away from you.
Citizen's arrest, right?
so Chris, I understand like every marriage is different and husband-wife aspect. You seem very protective of Katie and her having conversations with or without you. But like I said before you came on, I do believe that Katie is the one who, and I'm not saying it's because she knows what happened to Sebastian, but she was the last person that was with him. And so she does hold the most information, at least up until the point that he went missing.
What information do you think she holds?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Well, then do me a favor. Let's just get to it.
Okay.
Don't pour gravy on the mashed potatoes. Just serve the stuff up.
Chris, I'm really trying to be respectful, and this is a very
I am too. So please just get to it.
Okay.
No,
so
you're
we would
interrupting.
really love to hear from Katie about his body language that day. We've heard from others who are not necessarily good sources about his body language at the bowling alley and his body language here and there. And so we're just really trying to pick up on Sebastian's mood because it could help us understand what led to him walking away off the front porch out the front door.
Well, that is something that if she decides to answer, that's on her. But what I know is even on video, Sebastian was having a great day. He was in a great mood. He got to go to BJ's. He had a colossal popcorn. He hung out with family. He went and played video games at Strike and Spare. After that, he went and had dinner at Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse. He ate his whole meal. I mean, everything in the video Even the videos that Seth has seen, he doesn't show any negative signs of he's upset or anything like that.
Bull. We've seen it, Chris. We saw him shake his head violently at Katie. We did not see a smile. Sebastian's endearing smile that we all love so much. We all love so much. We did not see that smile during that whole video. He did not smile once. So don't tell me there was no negativity going on. What does the Last Supper have to do with abracadabra? Right? Yeah. He doesn't want Katie to talk because he's afraid Katie will give it up. He's afraid she'll slip up. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. It's all alleged. It's my own opinion. You guys check out the facts, honestly. But that's where we're going to stop for tonight. And yes, I mean, I will, if something comes in, within the next couple of hours, guys, I'll try to jump on live if I can, to let you know any updates. I've been refreshing Dog's page and I've not seen anything yet, including right now. I've been doing it behind the scenes. Just checking. So nothing yet. I think everybody is waiting. I wish she would give us a time. It'd be so much easier, wouldn't it? Oh, but I really appreciate all of your opinions, your thoughts, and please, if you guys have any tips, think of anything that you haven't heard me speak about yet, or even if you have and you think it's a different way, please feel free to email me. Let me know your thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what's going on. I like to be the first to know. So if you know of anything, please feel free to email me at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Tips, whatever it takes. Going to share our grannyism tonight. It doesn't cost anything to be nice to people. It's nice to be nice. Okay? So focus on the good. Let's all be the change that we want to see in this world, all right? Okay, guys. Have a wonderful night, and I'll jump on if we get that information, okay? Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.